Hi, this is Lou and John. This is our series, Bottled Wisdom.
Yep.
We're going to have fun with this one because the question here is, what does progress look like?
Yeah.
We picked up on a comment that just basically, we heard a kind of little cry. I'm recognising what I need to do, but it's really hard to apply that in this situation. And absolutely.
Well, it is hard. There is no doubt about it. It is hard.
Yeah.
You know?
And we can't give formulas for progress in this situation, because for some people progress is getting to the end and letting go, isn't it?
Well, the problem, particularly in the addiction field, is what does progress look like? And you know, and for many people, progress, there is only one sort of measure of progress: sober, or not sober. You know, not sober is lack of progress, and sober is progress.
Do you agree with that?
No. If we agreed with that, it would sort of negate so many good things. You know, I mean, I was a researcher, you know, and this was a question that we always had to ask. You know, what do we mean? What's a good outcome? You know, and we had to put measures in place about what a good outcome was. Once upon a time, the you know, and this research in the addiction field was, as I say, it was black and it was white. It was either you know, sober or not sober. And my colleague and I introduced a different thing. We called it survival analysis, and it was time to not sober. You know,
Right.
and that in itself, you know, was a sort of change in the way we looked at things, you know, because previously it was either or.
In or out.
Yeah.
And so that you said journey.
Yeah.
Journey towards,
Now, the thing about progress is it's rarely linear. By that I mean it rarely goes at the same speed all the time, you know. What tends to happen is it kind of jumps, you know, and then there's big jumps. And do you know what I mean? There are small changes and then there are big changes. And what you have to do is you have to kind of attune yourself to see some of the smaller changes.
This is really important in this journey.
It's very important. One of the reasons why we created some of the tools that we created, in particular Share in Bottled Up, was because of this very question, you know. Because there are some people who just drink all the time, you know, and sometimes it's very difficult to address the drinking. And one of the reasons we addressed Share was to look at the problem in a different way, you know. So it wasn't a case of this pantomime sort of argument that took place. You're drinking too much. Oh no, I'm not. Oh yes, I am. Oh no, I'm not. You know, it was. We started to look at some of the outcomes of drinking, some of the consequences of drinking, and what we suggested was with Share is that you know, which is about safety, health, ambition, relationships, and the environment or economics. That what we do is we look at these consequences and we work on those consequences, right? And if we can reduce some of those consequences, then we're making progress.
So, for example, with safety, if you feel there's a lot of safety issues, you know, take the chip pan away, use oven chips, you know, just really simple things like this. Ask them to take the smoking out the house if they smoke, and any issue.
I was a drinker and I smoked in bed, you know.
Yes. My smoker used to fall asleep.
Exactly. I mean, there were sort of burn marks all around the carpet by the bed. You know?
Yeah. So again, working on little bits, making progress step by step. Now it does feel as if you're walking in a hurricane, and be aware of this. The winds that are trying to stop change come at you, and they feel very, very strong. And so I think if you were walking in a strong wind, you would walk slower. And it would feel harder, but you can still make progress. Maybe not a hurricane, but in a very strong wind.
Very often we can only see progress by looking back.
Yeah.
You know, it's difficult to see progress in the now. Progress is generally where we've come from. Yes. You know, I used to tell this story many times, and there's a mountain in Scotland that I used to climb. It was called the Cobbler, and the first part of it, you go straight from sea level and you go straight up into this wood. And you're walking up a stream bed, you know, and it's very, very steep. And I have to say, it's not particularly pleasant. You know, you just, particularly in the winter, there's water's running down your feet, you're in the trees, it doesn't seem as if you're making any progress, you're just knackered. And then all of a sudden you come out the trees and you look back and you're way above this loch. And this wonderful view just opens up. But you can only see it by looking back. But when you're in the middle of that, and you're on your head's down and you're looking at the, you know, the stream, you know, and you're in among the woods, it doesn't seem as if you're going anywhere at all. So it's about looking back, you know. One of the measures of progress in athletics is not that you don't get out of breath, it's that you get that you recover quicker, you know. Somebody runs around 400 metres round a track, yes, they will be puffed, you know, they will, but it's how quickly you recover. You know, how quickly you get your breath back, how quickly you can actually speak again. That's the measure of progress. It's not that there is no, you know, that you're not sort of out of breath at all. And when people are getting sober, sometimes we need to look at it and say, well, okay, they only drank 5 days this week. They drank 7 last week. They drank 3 this week. It's looking at these small things. They didn't drink in the house. They didn't start till 7 o'clock. They didn't, you know, these are measures of progress. We didn't have an argument this week about it, you know. And then looking at yourself, I didn't feel quite as anxious. I actually had my night out. I did that. Do you know what I mean? It's looking at these things. These are progress.
Okay, now we don't want these to be long, so we're going to do a part 2. So I think we're finished there, and we'll talk a little bit more about it in the second video.
Yeah.
And so do join us. This is a video in 2 parts, and we'll see you again in a minute, or next week, or whenever you listen to these things.
Yeah.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.